Okay, the reason for this video, well, two reasons really. First one is syncing music between computers, Mac computers that is, and just a little using a shortcut step using the screen sharing option in macOS 10.5 Leopard. Now you may or may not know that syncing music between computers is not a normal function of Apple software. You of course can transfer music using via iPhone or iPod, but of course that has to be purchased through the iTunes store without any other third-party software. You could also use a flash drive or external drive, but for the little amount of music I add nowadays, that would be really a pain in the butt, and by the time I would acquire enough songs to do it, I'd probably forget which songs I've added. So, to make a long story short, I sync it with using a third-party software called Tune Ranger. Now, syncing between two computers would require you to activate Tune Ranger on both computers. For Leopard and screen sharing, I literally would have to turn on Tune Ranger on both computers before syncing. With screen sharing, I can bypass that step. I can go up to the Go menu, scroll down, select Connect to Server. You want to hit the Browse button. You want to see the mini computer. Double click on it, hit the screen share screen. There's my mini. So you can see the mini. There's my iMac. Great. I want to turn on Tune Ranger here. That's going to load. Very good. I'm going to minimize that window, close out my server windows, and then I'm going to activate Tune Ranger on my iMac. And I'll wait till the library adds. There it is. I can hit the Start button in Tune Ranger, and it's going to go through a syncing process. Little window on the left-hand side, the log window. It's going to compare the two libraries for any differences. It syncs playlists, individual songs, movies, TV shows, podcasts. It does not sync applications, not as of yet. That's okay. No worries with there. That's what the iPhone or iPod are for, so you can transfer those purchases. Anyways, so you can see in this window, or you may not be able to see, but it's adding or going through the files, various files. It's comparing the number of files, 3,843 to 3,844, and it's going through the various playlists now. And yeah, I got about 12 of them, so it takes a little time. Notices any differences. You can always scroll back up once this is done to look at the log file for those playlists if you really want to. I used to do that, but it's just kind of pointless now. Okay, so that comes up. So now compared the two, and says there's differences of 7. Some need to be transferred to my mini, some need to be deleted, and of course you could have vice versa. In this case I don't. I want to hit the sync button. It's now going to copy, in this case, podcasts from my iMac to my mini. It's copying 1 of 7. Now, depending on the file sizes, and if you're movies, TV shows, in this case podcasts, they can get obviously large file sizes and can take a little bit of time depending on your connection. I got a fairly fast connection, but regardless, movies and large files will take a long time. You can always check back on the other computer via the screen sharing, but it's not really going to tell you much. So I just minimize that. I like screen sharing because I can perform these functions just at one computer. I don't have to go to both computers to do it before Leopard. The one drawback from screen sharing is that you can't share files that way. You can't transfer files between one computer to the other. It's really cumbersome in that respect. You have to use the regular file sharing to do that. I apologize, getting a little dry mouth there. Alright, so it's now finishing up the syncing process, finalizing it. Click back on that. Tune Ranger, I believe, costs about $29, and it's well worth it. Very well worth it. Now, is it perfect? No, it's on version 1.0. It is not a perfect version. There are discrepancies that happen every once in a while. Sometimes it adds duplicate playlists or duplicate songs, but it's actually never missed any, so that's always a plus. And I can always go through and via iTunes and look through duplicates and get rid of the ones that it just duplicated, but it usually doesn't do that. As you can see now, it's comparing the playlist, going through those, blah blah blah. Yes, I have a Christmas playlist. Obviously I played around Christmas time, not now. It doesn't sync if you have a playlist of radio stations, which I do. Now, the one interesting feature of it is that you say, okay, sync's completed, it's done. But I like to double check, and the reason is sometimes it requires a second sync to update the metadata files. Metadata for iTunes, meaning any information that has been added to the file, such as if it's been played, the play count, the last time and date that it was played, any changes to the info screen if you go get info on a song. Though I will say one of the interesting side effects is if you add comments, it actually will replace the entire song just because of that. Quite irritating. But anyways, again, it's just a 1.0 version, so TuneRanger for that version and for what it does is quite good. Now, again, if you're starting with TuneRanger and you have one computer full of music and you don't have the other computer of any music, it's going to take quite a while, depending, of course, how big your library is. I have over 3,800 songs, and that would take some time. So I just kind of bypassed it, used an external drive, and got it to where it needed to be, and then I picked up from there. Okay, so I ran the second sync, nothing to sync. That's good. That's what I wanted to see. You quit TuneRanger. Oh, and by the way, if you don't have iTunes active, when TuneRanger starts up, it will activate it, but you won't see a main screen. You'd actually have to click on it. Whoops, in this case I already do have it. Oh, there it is. One thing I like to do is double check. Okay, 3,841. Minimize that. Go to my mini. Close out of TuneRanger. And then we go and see what we got. 3,841. Perfect. So it's exactly in sync. Close that out. Great. And then I can close out a screen sharing. First thing first. One of the things I did want to mention is if you are sharing a large amount of files and your computer is set to go to sleep, you don't want it to, because if it does, it will interrupt the syncing process. It will break the connection. So you want to prevent your computers from going to sleep. I use an application called Caffeine. I just click on the little coffee cup there. If it's full, it won't go to sleep. If it's empty, it can go through a screensaver and go to sleep. Here's the screen sharing module. I can disconnect from this one if I want to, or I can disconnect from this computer. So there you guys have it. Hope that was helpful. Talk to you guys later. Bye.